Hello, everybody. So, well, almost everything I will say you would have already heard about, but I will try to put also more acronyms in all what was said. So, because as I'm new in the unit, they try to, challenge me a little bit with all these acronyms going on. You will see them. The idea is to make the link with, as Gertrude said, with the theory, the concepts, the models, and the implementations themselves. So I'm sure you all know this graph because you are all following all the activities we are doing under ISA. So this is the latest graph showing the interoperability framework that was adopted lately in March. So I'm not going to go in the detail of this framework. If you want to know more about that, Gertrude and two other persons will present this in the digital assembly, so there will be much more information about that there. But today we will be focusing on one of the layers of this framework, which is the semantic interoperability. This is the layer which will allow to have the data and the information in a way that is understandable and that can be interpreted, and this will be transported through the technical interoperability. So what this semantic interoperability means? Well, it means that you defined a format that can be understood. What a format is, well, it's a definition, a technical definition. For example, you can say that the first 10 characters means the first name, 10 other characters are the surname. I mean, we can develop further on that. But this is not only that. We have also to have the context of this data. And the context may mean that you interpret differently the same data. So, for example, what does it mean a CIO or a head of unit? It depends a lot on, for example, the context or the organizational size. Also, you have the multilingualism, which is also a challenging aspect within Europe on the interoperability semantic. So this is also something that we have to foster and we have to work on in this context. Okay. Now, so agreeing on formats and on definitions of data, on the meaning of the data and of the metadata can be used mainly in two different ways. So the publication of the data, and this has been already raised several times, is public administrations, and if we look at public administrations, have a lot of data that can be shared with businesses and citizens. And if we publish it in the correct way, it can create a lot of value out there. So that is one of the ways of reusing and taking profit of the formats and the standards. And another way is on the data exchange, where interoperability plays also an important role on having information systems that may change information. And this is also a good enabler for the once-only principle, where you can pass the information that is understandable between two different systems without having to ask the user to enter twice or three times exactly the same information. So what have we been doing within the ISA² program, and more concretely on the SEMIC action? So what we have been doing is exactly working on the development and promotion and usage of core vocabularies, so this has been already mentioned before, and on data specifications. I will go in more detail on these aspects in my next slides. But we have also been working on the definition of processes and on giving guidelines for information governance and the management of information. And we have been going further with piloting some projects which would apply these standards and these core vocabularies. We have also supported member states in the implementation in their own, for example, local interoperability frameworks. And we have also, as Gertrude mentioned already, collect the best practices around, they are available in JoinUp. So I think JoinUp, as Gertrude said, is a very interesting source of information that is not only that you can use to get the information, but you can use to put your own information and your own solutions. So just to give an idea on the scope of the activities and to say that data covers any policy domain. So we are not talking only about, for example, IT. No, in fact, data is being used everywhere. So that's why we have been working, for example, with 9 director generals in the Commission, which means that we have been working in different domains like e-procurement or taxation or other aspects like health. The contributions and the support has gone through more than 50 countries. We have done more than 50 real implementations, piloting, and this has been done through very intensive collaboration work. We had more than 10 working groups who met regularly. So as Gertrude said, the interoperability framework was a co-creation with a public consultation with member states meeting and giving feedback, but not only. The standards that I will talk later have also been done with the feedback of many stakeholders. We have organized a lot of events, including webinars and this conference, which also allow on the promotion and on the exchange of all these ideas and solutions. And, well, there are around more than 1,500 stakeholders that have contributed in these activities. I don't know where this, but it doesn't work. Voila. I don't have enough energy. No. So just to give an idea, so the stakeholders, they come from different, majority is on public administrations, but not only. We have also been interacting with businesses and also with academia to have a broader view and to have a broader feedback on all the activities we have done. So this is where it comes, the difficult part. I won't read all the acronyms you have there, but no, but I think it's important. They have been mentioned by Gertrude, not with the acronyms, but with the real information behind. I will go a little bit more in detail of some of them. So, yeah. ADMS. So we have been talking about solutions and how, for example, sharing and reuse can help to have cost savings. And whenever you build a new information system or a new service, instead of just starting from scratch and say, okay, I need to do something, I just do it on my own. No, there are already a lot of solutions or building blocks that could be reused, that could be integrated in your own solution. And the idea is how to make it easy to find those ones. So this specification helps in describing these solutions in a way that is understandable by everybody. So this then can be put in some registries like JoinUp, where you could easily find, because you will understand the metadata, the description of those solutions, and you can then decide to reuse them or not. As you can see, there have been already quite some implementations on this standard. It's just to take time to breathe between phrases. Voilà. Now, we have been also talking about open data portals, and it's for sure that the data economy is there. Data has a lot of value, and the public administrations have a huge amount of data that, if they make available, can create value, can improve the economy. This can be used by businesses or by citizens to really create value and increase the economy in the member states. So the description here is to be able to describe these sector data sets so that they can be published in a way that then can be reused and can be searchable. So as you can see, there have been several implementations. This is one of the standards that is the most used, of the ones that we have defined. It is used in the European Data Portal, and from there, in fact, it has been used in several member states. Some of them you will see this afternoon or during the day, how this has been used in the real implementation for the open data portals. Okay, core vocabularies. So we have been talking about the solutions and how we can describe them, how we can describe a core data set that is published in a portal. Now we're talking about the content. So we need to also agree in the description of the content itself. For sure, we cannot just have one definition for all the contexts. So what we have been doing is working on core vocabularies. So in something that is common, that can be understandable, and that is being used in most of the data sets. So we have, as it has already been mentioned, data, location, businesses. I would say these three concepts are mentioned in almost all the data open data sets that are published. We have also some other which are more specific for public administrations, but very useful for businesses and citizens, which is the description of public services or of public organizations. So, I have problems with this tool. Well, to give an example on the implementation. So these core vocabularies is just not a theory, just a model, just the description of what a person is and all the metadata related to a person, but they have been used. And you will hear about all of this in this, for example, in Italian, so the Trentino region and Flanders, they will explain you how they have been using and implementing the core vocabularies or extending them to the specific use they have done on their own regions. It goes beyond also, we are working, as I said, it covers different domains. So in the domain of the justice, so DG Justice, there is a new application, a new registry, which is the business registry, interconnected, which has been delivered last week. So now member states are entering all this information in the system, which is the business registry. So this solution has been based on the core vocabulary describing businesses, which has, in fact, made it much more easier when defining the solution, not to try to invent a new description of business that would be an agreement for all the member states. Because here what we are talking is on interoperability, but not only, but also in understanding the metadata from one member state to another, so that we go beyond borders. And there are other aspects in which we are working, which are, for example, succession forms or public documents. So public documents is a regulation that is being built, and we are working to be sure that the description of these public documents is done in the proper way that can be reused and can be then implemented in any solution that will facilitate this, the implementation of this regulation. So, well, and in fact, all the information I have set is available in JoinUp. You also have in the ISA² standard, is just on the back there, a lot of information that you can take also, describing the core vocabularies or the EAF, so you can go pass and check, and if you want more detail, you can connect and follow all the activities there. Thank you very much.